Hey YouTube, Mike here. How we doing today? All right, we're in front of the lathe today for part 3, which is going to be the finish and the assembly of this pen, which is a slim line. All right, as you know, remember last week we turned it and we sanded it down so that it was even with all of the bushings, nice and smooth. Okay, so we're going to do 2 different types of finishes on this. First one we're going to do is where we wax it and we oil it, and then you can then encapsulate that with CA glue. And we're going to use the Star Bond brand of glue, which like I explained when I did the opening of the actual glue, is a glue that I have watched other pen turners use to encapsulate the pen, and basically you're turning a wood pen into an acrylic pen. We will have to do wet sanding, and I'll go over that in a minute with the sandpaper, and then the pen now will actually look very similar to an acrylic pen, and it will give it, see, when you wax it and you use one of these finishes, okay, which is the hot crystal coat, and as you can see, I have used this. I love this product. This product, with pretty much all of my wood pens, I've used it. And you can also use Howard, it's a feed and wax style. I haven't used a lot of this on the pens. It does give it a little bit darker finish, but I have used it. It's a good product for pens. So, but I really like, and it was highly recommended to me through Woodcraft, with all of the pen turners and the 2 classes that I took years ago, that this here was a very good product. The only thing, when you do finish it with, and let me grab the wax here. Again, it's a hot wax, and again, all of it will be in the description below. There is the lighter color wax and a darker color wax. Basically, you go by the color of the wood. With this, we're going to use the darker color, but you can use the lighter color if you wanted to, because it's pretty much almost, it's in between. But I like the darker color on there to make this a little bit darker. When you do use the wax and the liquid, eventually with the oils on your finger, the pen starts to kind of like get darker. It's a normal thing with a wood pen that you finish with a wax and this liquid. When you put the acrylic over it, what ends up you're doing is you're encapsulating it, so you're still going to get the color that you like and the look of the wood. And if you happen to do a grain, or if you do multi pieces of different woods, then you protect the pen. Now I am going to add a 4th video to this, where I misplaced my jig for my table saw, and honestly I don't think the jig was set up for the rigid saw that I had. Let me get behind the camera here. It was set up for the rigid table saw, not the saw stop. So I don't think, even though if I had the jig, it may not, I probably would have had to rebuild it. It's where I can cut the 1 or 2 inch blocks on a 45, so that you can interlay different woods, glue it with the CA, clamp it, leave it overnight, and then turn it, and you get all that different segments. Okay, so let's just get right into it. We'll zoom in and you'll just hear my lovely voice. Give me a second here. Let's get this zoomed in. Okay, now I always like to leave my denatured alcohol in case I need it again. It's here, the denatured alcohol. I leave a couple of paper towels in case I feel that, you know, there is some more residue on the actual piece of wood, but it feels really good. All right, first thing I want to do is I want to grab the wax, which is right here. Tool rest is out of the way. As you can see on the wax, there's already like an indent in it where I have used this wax. And you want to turn the lathe on, and you want to just go back and forth with the wax and build up a coat of wax on the wood. Now, some people like to do the liquid and the wax. I found that the wax and the liquid has worked better. Then I take a clean rag and I just sit here, and almost the same thing that I've done with the sandpaper is I just work this in. Now, this liquid right here is almost like a polishing compound you would use for your car. It's the compound that you're going to use after the pen has had the CA glue put on it. So let's just get this out of the way so we don't lose this. We're not going to use this anymore. Okay, then I'm going to do another. You can actually see the spiral. And let's just move the CA glue so we're not putting it on the floor. And basically just polish it in. There, it's got a nice shine to it. Alright, now fold the cloth, get it clean. You can use this pretty much if you have a bunch of pens you're going to do. Fold the cloth, open this up, turn your lathe on, and then put your hot crystal coat on. Get it in there, let it work itself in. Let it work itself in. And then squeeze it. You don't need a lot of pressure. Two or three coats should be fine. Just use your whole hand. See, watch that. That's why I always have your hand on top so you can pull your hand away. And it'll happen. It'll happen. Rather it happen now and show you. Why edit that out? Show it. Let it show you what could happen. All right, so there it is. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. It has made the wood darker. All right, now you could leave that right there. You could take that off the mandrel, bring it over to the assembly, and make the pen if you want to. But if not, let's go now into the CA glue. It's funny, I had a different table when I did this. I actually had a wood workbench that I had, and I would actually clamp. I had screw holes in it with wing nuts that I would actually leave this on. And it had wheels, and I would just roll it around when I wanted it out. And even though I love this DeWalt table, there is quite a bit of play in the table. All right, so now that's that. You need this, you need the rag again for the next, for this part with the CA glue. All right, let me grab the CA glue, the accelerant, and my, all right, now, the, I always keep a second one in my pocket with the CA glue. You want to use your towel like that. You see how I'm folding it, and it's got it's the fold here. You don't want to do it on this part. You want the fold part. What I'm going to do, yep, we can see good. And I'm not using the power. It's all going to be with my fingers. And I like to move this out of the way. What you do, and I'm going to do this blank first, is you put a line of CA glue on and then start turning this back and forth, moving your hand, back and forth, moving your hand, back and forth, moving your hand. Now stop. Put your second bead on. Now I'm using medium. One bead of glue. And then back and forth, move your hand back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now it is going to glue it onto the mandrel. That's your first coat. Move your CA glue. Don't leave it where your accelerant is. And then hit your accelerant. The beauty about this Star Bond accelerant is that it's fast drying. And when I was using the 2P from Fast Cap, it's not as fast as this. Now, I got to tell you, this glue, using it with these models, is unbelievable. Now, you want to wipe off. So you're going to use that clean rag. You're going to wipe off. Go back and forth 10, 15, 20 times. Wipe that off. Now, spin your towel. Grab your CA glue. Put your coat on. And back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Put your CA glue on. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Stop. Hit it with the accelerant. Let it dry for a second or two. Take your cloth. Wipe it. Just wipe it. Now you can actually feel. You can feel the difference now when you when you feel the pen after you did the wax and the crystal coat. You'll see it nice and shiny, nice and smooth. You can see it's still dark, but if you feel this, there's a big difference. Now fold your paper towel. Fold your paper towel. Now again, so that you're at the fold. I like to keep in my pocket away from all this dust. Give it another little wipe, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, some guys like to put it on the paper. I don't. Just hold the paper in your hand. Get your line of CA glue on. And back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Don't prolong it, because your the paper towel will stick to as the CA glue is drying. You got to be fast. Just a few times. If not, I made the mistake. This will stick to this, and you'll end up with little fur. And then you have to sand that fur off. Again, in my pocket, that's coat number 3. accelerant. Wait 2 seconds. And now wipe it off. We're going to do 5 coats. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Remember, all of this, no power. Just spin the lathe. You see, I'm spinning the lathe here on the left side. Now, fold paper towel this way. Now you see you see the marks? So now fold the paper towel. So you can get like 30 coats with one piece of paper towel. And this is that heavy duty shop towel. On, back and forth, real fast, stop. As soon as you feel resistance on the wood, stop. Back and forth, stop. Then just look at it. Now you're going to see little deviations in it. That's normal. Hit it. Give it a second. And then hit it with the paper. Excuse me, hit it with the cloth. So that's 4. And now you can see how shiny it is. And we're going to take this off, and I'm going to show you close up of what it looks like. So that's what? That was 4. This is sit, right? 1. I'm going to count. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is 5. I did 3 on that. Look at this. I'm putting it on paper. I've done it. I put it on the paper towel, but it just didn't work for me. There we go. Accelerant, 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 accelerant. I sound like Bob Ross. We're going to do a little happy little accelerant. Let's do 6. Fold it this way. Okay. Clean off the tip of our star bond. And where did I put the little cap? Now, I have this a month now. I have never declogged this tip on the star bond. Never have declogged it. Okay, so let's bring this over to the camera and show you let's actually zoom back out. There we go. Now it's you can feel it's rough, but once we start sanding it, you'll see what happens and what it looks like. So let's get this. Okay, we're all the way out. All right, now, and if you noticed, I repositioned the lathe further away from the air conditioner. All right, you want to get this thing locked in. Now, for this, you're going to need the towel over the lathe because you're wet sanding. You got more paper towels here in my pocket. Okay, I have the water trough, which I'm leaving right here. And I have a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sandpaper. A chart and some water inside of the little trough. Micro mesh. That's the sanding system that I use. I have used and only have used. As you can see, it starts at 1500 and ends at 12,000. You have the color. You have rust, green, black, tan, wine brown, teal, purple, royal blue, and gray. I don't remember them. I just keep this thing with me. I actually have a couple of them because I also have the same system in a holder for when I do acrylic pens. But this is the system that I have used for wood pens. So I leave it here. Now, it's two-sided, so it's not like the regular tape, the regular sandpaper that you can write on the back. So you have to go with the color. I keep them in a stack. I keep rust first, gray last. So now I'm going to drop rust in the water and just let it sit there. Just turn it a few times because we're going to come back, we're going to go over here and we're going to do zoom in so you could see. Okay? Now I'm going to use the old paper towel for water on my hands. I got another piece of paper towel in my pocket. We're going to turn on the lathe and we're going to wet sand this. Oh, sorry. We're going to throw the next one in the water. Now, I used to throw them all in the water. And then I used to fish for them. And some of these colors are very close. Now, you got to get your fingers in the corners, and you don't have to stay a long time on this. You can feel there's a big difference now. I'm going to put the first one down. I'm going to throw the next one in. I'm going to take out, which is the 1800, which is green. Go in the corner, in the corner, in the corner. That's where it's meeting the bushings. Put it down. I'm throwing the next one in, which is tan, 3200. 10 seconds. If you don't clump up the CA glue, it should be 10 seconds. Corner, 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 and like a baby's behind. Not there. There we go. Throw the next one in. Now you remember, you're going to have to kind of fight a little bit to get these off the mandrel because they're glued on. The CA glue gets onto the area. Okay, I'm throwing in the teal. I'm using the 3600, which is the wine brown. You want to make that slurry in the sanding pad. Okay, then I like to shut it off. Just check it out. Wow. Oh, if you could only feel it. You will. You do it, you'll feel it. I like these the most. Acrylic, I wear a face shield and my heart's in my mouth. Even after turning the pen for for 2 years. Man, when an acrylic explodes, it's like a claymore mine. Friggin' pieces everywhere. And then, of course, some choice words, and then you're turning another blank. And I didn't find them, but I have. Okay, hold on. We're up to purple, and I didn't throw it in the water. Shame on me. I'm going to throw the royal blue in. I bought bags of a half dozen of each of the different brass tubes because of the the acrylic pens exploding like a claymore mine. Okay, and then the last I'm putting in is gray. Slurry is your friend. And then the barber says next. Last one, gray, 12,000. Now with this, you don't have to really shut the shut the lathe off and go like this because of the wet sanding. You see it? How shiny this is. Now it's encapsulated with the CA glue, and it won't change color. It'll stay like this forever, no matter how many times you touch it with your fingers. When you're using it, or if you give it to it as a present. All right, this one we can do with the camera where it is. Basically, you're going to get it back in there. Lock your lathe. Get your water out of the way. And now we're going to take this ultra gloss plastic polish. Give it a good shake. Who's it made by? Made in the USA. Huh! I forgot. It's a Woodcraft product. I mean, Woodcraft sells it. Just give it a good shake. Take out your other paper towel. And this, you're going to put it on the paper towel. You're going to turn the lathe on. I'm going to use since I did not need my denatured alcohol. Get that one finger in there, back and forth. You can see it leave. Laser, you're buffing it. You're doing what you did with the hot oil. Clean your stuff up. How shiny that is. All right, let's fight this out. Let's move the camera because I have now the assembly. We got to do the assembly. That should be good. I'm going to need, because it locked on, I need to use a pair of pliers here to get this off. There we go. Oh, look at that! Okay, well, this one is glued on. This one is glued on. So, there we go. It's starting to come off now. But we'll get that, you get that off later. The magnet back. All right. I like to lay the parts out the way I'm going to put them together. So, you have your clip, your turn mechanism, your center ferrule. I leave the ink cartridge here and the nib over here. Now, you go with alright, we're going to do, actually, let me move the camera over here because I think it'll be better that way. Move this box. There we go, much better. All right, open up all your flaps. See, this is spring loaded. First thing I'm gonna do is the nib. And if you notice in here, let's put that back there. You see there's a hole in here for the nib. And I mounted this on the board. So you wanna put the nib in first. Oop, don't lose it. You just wanna try to start the nib. Pull back, get that in there, get it nice and centered, and then you want to drop down these pieces and then push. That's it. Now your nib is installed. Now you want to go with, you want to do the mechanism. Now remember, you have markings where to stop. Get that in there. Again, get the nib all the way up. Get it to where, drop your pieces down, and then slowly insert right there. Now your first thing is done. We gotta go a little bit more. See, that's, you're gonna test it. So let's do the cap now. You want to insert the clip holder into it. You want to put your clip in, get it here, drop down your, and then insert. Okay, now you want to, what you're going to put your, well, let's test it because we may have to push the, it's better to push the insert in Yep, we got to go more. So pull that off, pull that off, pull out the cartridge. Pull out the cartridge, and then give it a go. There we go. Put your ring on. Put your end on. And there you are. You can go a little bit more if you wanted to. But there's your pen. You can go a little bit more if you wanted to make it come out a little bit more. I don't know if these, I don't know, the ink cartridges could be dry because they are old. But there you go. That's your slimline pen, little hourglass figure. Put it in my pocket. Now, of course, you're messing around with it. Give it a nice cleaning. Don't matter if your hands have oil on it, because the C8 glue is going to keep it nice and protected. And then turn it back in, out. And all these cartridges could be bought at Staples, Office Depot, online, wherever. I like this pen. I had a couple of different pen presses, but this one's the nicest. So there you go. There's your pen. There's the pen. I love this wood. Love it. All right. Let's get the camera back in its normal position again. Okay, YouTube. I hope you like this series. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it again, and I'm going to be making a hell of a lot more pens. So I'll probably be making some table again, because like I said, I'm unhappy with that table. Works good, but I'm unhappy. Okay, for those of you that follow me on the Renai Guy, and I'll put my other site, I'm going to be doing the unboxing and the showing of this Yugo power supply. And I've had numerous conversations with David, who is the actually engineer, original designer of the system. And this thing could be used for you could take this thing, put it in a box, bring it to a campsite, and power lighting, and charge your phone, charge your iPad, whatever. Play a television. It could be used for everything. So on a boat, whatever. It's not just for tankless heaters. So check out that. I'll be doing that and posting that either today or tomorrow. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, thank you very much for all of those subscribes, all the questions, all the likes, all the comments. I greatly, again, from the bottom of my heart, truly appreciate the support that I've gotten on my channel. So everything will be in the description below with my email. Got a question, want a Mike Woodshop sticker, just drop me your information, and we'll send it out, or I'll answer your question. All right, YouTube, you all be safe out there, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.